Black Magic Woman podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on. We also acknowledge traditional owners of the land where you, the listener or viewer, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to our elders past and present and acknowledge that this always was Aboriginal land and always will be Aboriginal land.
Welcome to the Black Magic Woman podcast with Mundanara Bayles.
Thank you for joining me for another deadly episode of the Black Magic Woman podcast here on the beautiful unceded lands of the Whadjuk Noongar peoples, or Whadjuk Noongar Budja. I'm learning some language, and I think it's so important that wherever we go that we learn at least how to greet people. Is it kaya? Yes?
Yep.
There's some little words that I've been picking up because I've had some deadly guests on this couch while I've been here. And today we're going to talk to two more deadly people about their lives, their business, what they're doing, their kids. So I'm not going to tell you too much. I'm going to get straight into it. But I just want to say thank you for taking time to come here and be part of this deadly podcast. For my listeners and also viewers on YouTube, can you introduce yourself? So what's your name, who your mob is, and a little bit about where you grew up?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Walter McGuire Junior. My bush name, Noongar name, is Jindinya. I'm a Noongar Bidman man, and we also have family ties with the Bunjima people in the Pilbara country through my great-grandfather and great-great-grandmother, but all the other old people are Noongar people. So my parents are Wally and May McGuire, and I'm from a family of 7 siblings, 6 brothers and 1 sister. She's my favourite sister, of course. I always say that. And I'm her favourite brother. But grew up in Noongar country, Balladong. Our old people were moved around through colonisation, invasion time, and so we grew up in Balladong country, just over east of Whadjuk country, and we moved back to Whadjuk country in the mid to late 70s, and so been here ever since.
So how far is Balladong from here, CBD area?
Yeah, pretty much. You head in an easterly direction on the Great Eastern Highway, heading out of town, and over the ridge there, Karamurda, or the Darling Scarp, you come to a certain point and cross over into Balladong country.
And for people like myself, and also people that are tuning in or watching anywhere in the world, what does that country look like if I could picture it, or if you could describe it?
Oh, paradise. Yeah. Noongar country, what can I say? I'm biased anyway, so I do apologise. I've seen some beautiful country, my wife's country, of course. Better say that. Very close. But she'll get... sorry about that. She'll get to tell her story shortly, I suppose. But, it's like, I suppose, the many countries of the many Aboriginal language nations on what is now called Australia. We have beautiful countries.
Thank you. And over to you, my sister.
Hey. Lukukan Kungarakan Giniaranga. I'm Kungarakan on my mother's side, English and Irish in the background as well, but married into this mad Noongar mob just for the last couple of decades. So lived most of my life down in the southwest, but actually was born in Gurra in Larrakia country, in the suburb of Larrakia as well. So that's in Gurra, Darwin. So territory girl, and I left there when we were blown out actually after Cyclone Tracy, which will be 50 years in December, Christmas. That happened.
And you was only about 3 then, eh?
Yeah, actually, I think I was just newborn. No. No, I was a little girl in primary school, but yeah, I remember that quite well.
Wow, you remember?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Remember it very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people talking about the cyclone.
Yeah.
Hurricane, cyclone.
Yeah, well, it was a cyclone, but they say there was
completely
tornadoes
wiped
in there.
Tornadoes. Yeah, people have spoken about it as
Yes.
probably the worst weather
Perfect
event.
storm.
Yeah.
It was horrific. And Darwin was pretty small, and the infrastructure was pretty basic at the time, I guess, and that came through. But there were cyclone-proof houses, and we had one of those. Had one of the older houses, and it got preserved pretty well. But my family found themselves in between Darwin River and Finniss River Bachelor, which is where my mob is from. Is actually not Larrakia country, but Kungarakan country. Almomi Bachelor and Palagutch, the Litchfield Park, and Nungala called Finniss River. Yeah.
Well, when we were yarning last night, and you mentioned a name, Joe McGuinness.
Yeah.
And when I was studying at Bachelor, that name, for some reason, I don't know why, but that name was mentioned so many times to us as students.
Yes.
And you mentioned that name last night, and I was like, where do I know that name from?
Yeah.
Then when I said Bachelor, and you was like, yeah, that's my mob.
Yes, yeah.
So that was random.
That's why. He was very instrumental, workers' unions back in the day, and he'd come back and forth to fight for his mob. We're from a very staunch line of freedom fighters and civil, human rights and working rights people. Mm-hmm. So yeah, really, that kind of drives there's a lot of that in our family and the McGuinness family. That's just that's the Irish connection I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And he was pretty good. He was an old miner, and he married my great grandmother Lucy. Lucy was just straight from the bush. So Alyan Dawul, her name was. Yeah.
Don't go judging a book by its cover, you mob.
Yeah.
It's
undercover sister, that's all I can say.
I love it.
Yeah.
I go undercover a lot. Unless I put a beautiful dress on and, with beautiful artwork or wear some beautiful earrings, I give myself up. But, if I want to, just wear normal clothes, I can get away as being anything from Spanish to Indian to Greek. People don't even the last thing they think is that I'm Aboriginal. The last thing. Yeah. And then it's like shock horror on their faces when I say I'm Aboriginal, and people are like, "What?" And it's like they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. No. And you can feel it. You can sense it that they're now trying to
recalibrate their brain to take it all in.
Before what they say next. You could just be yarning about those experiences for throughout our whole lives. That sometimes it drives us to be more kind of staunch in our identity or loud. My little sister, blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin, and you can hear her before you see her. But she's the baby, so, she made a lot of noise to make sure no one forgot about her.
Yes.
But we grew up in Redfern, which is very same as your background in terms of that civil rights movement and political activeness. That was my family as well. So that's the McGuinness name. Yeah. Yeah, it comes from that.
Yeah, Jack McGuinness was the first, who's Joe's brother. Now get it in order. That's my grandmother, my mother's brothers. So Joe was her little brother. Jack was her older brother. Margaret was the third in line. Mm-hmm. Jack McGuinness, John Jack McGuinness, was the first half-caste union boss, they called him, in the 50s. There was a big splashy newspaper article in the People magazine that Jack McGuinness was the first half-caste union boss.
That was the title.
That was a big
That was the title in the magazine.
Yes, that was the wording.
Wow. See, these conversations that we're having today, you just don't know where it's going to go.
Yep.
Letting people kind of get a little bit of a glimpse into our lives as black fellas. So you got children. And grandchildren, or which way?
One now.
One?
Yeah, one recently.
Yeah.
3 months old she is.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Two daughters, 31 and 27.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah. I think this year she's 27. I lose track. They're mature women doing their own thing. Really proud of them both. Very, very musical, very arty, and really their own women, really strong young women. So
Where'd they get
proud of them.
Where'd they get the music and the art from?
Both sides.
Both sides?
Yeah, my mum was a good artist. But having said that, I mean that's They're living my life as musicians and actors, and
the best life.
The one that I thought I could have, but my generation, they didn't think that was a viable means of income at all. So forget about your dreams there and just do something practical like librarianship, which I got into.
Oh.
I'm a librarian.
A librarian.
So, yeah.
Look at that. Well, I'll be reaching out to you when I need to
no,
go to the library.
No, I'm trying to forget about that. No. I mean, I've been lots of things. Librarian, research officer, worked in medical services for and done medical research, anything that requires that. Ministerial officer, writing for ministers and doing policy and all that.
And is that where you fellas met?
Yeah, we met in the Department of Aboriginal Affairs, didn't we, hon?
Yes, we did.
We decided to have one.
Yes. And 36 years later?
Yeah.
Hey,
still happening.
Oh, look, that's still happy, still going. Yeah. And now you're here doing what you do best, like living and breathing culture. I first heard about you in particular, I heard about you through our tours at Blackheart, because my best friend was looking after the tours, and we had to curate some cultural immersions, like on-country cultural immersions with traditional owner businesses. And that was CommBank. They really wanted to connect with local traditional owners, not just any business. And I got my best friend that was doing the tours at the time to start looking around the whole country to curate these experiences for a client of ours. So you came up, bang, oh, yep, let's go and engage with him. And then my sister Yarika, so big shout out to Yarika, who also is a trainer at Blackheart and tour guide. We're jack of all trades. We jump in where we're needed. And Yarika said that she met you at a Indigenous tourism conference.
Yes.
In Lawn, Victoria.
Yeah.
And when she knew I was coming over, she said, oh, you got to go and do these tours. I said, sis, my itinerary is already chockers. And she said, well, if you do see these mob, tell them I said hello. Yeah. So here we are, Yarika, sitting on this couch, having this yarn. So what made you go from Indigenous Affairs to tourism?
We pretty much run out of employers, state and federal public service departments.
They didn't want you anymore.
Working with Aboriginal corporations too, and some of the private sector. But mind you, we have at the time enough qualifications, experience up our sleeves to do anything we wanted to do. And we actually thought about it when, in our first few years of marriage, we sat down and sort of did a little brainstorm activity about what we're going to do on the road to retirement. And I'll tell you, this is not retirement, but we were thinking about doing Aboriginal tourism. We did a spreadsheet and just brainstormed that, and that went missing over the, I think, 30-odd houses that we lived in 36 years. And moving around so much, we found that sheet of paper and said, look here, hey, we're doing what we kind of thought would be, on the road to retirement. And nobody wanting us to work. Well, anyway, to work with, you
become too much of a...
So we met in the workplace, had an affair, and
too much empowerment there.
Yes,
so,
too much to handle.
Yes. I thought it was great because we would become my own boss, but yes, no.
Don't blame me, mate.
Don't blame me.
Yeah. No,
so you took the leap.
Yeah, so we did. It was
You're
literally a leap. We felt like we were free falling off a cliff when we decided to have our own business, and it was like we just backed ourselves, basically. We said we can do this. Wal had already been doing welcomes to country and a bit of consultation here and there.
Yeah.
And
set up as a sole trader.
Me being the writer and the researcher, we just put together a script. I said, well, we can talk about this. And we just had a bit of a structure, had a few artefacts we could talk about, and that's just grown from there.
Yeah. I think it's so important, right? Husband and wife team here, right? Proper family business. And it is actually the case for a lot of black fellas, especially in tourism.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us are very small businesses. Like in my little tourism business in Brisbane, it's my sister, it was my best friend. My other sister's son, he was a ditch player. Like, we pull our family together.
Yeah.
Then my other sister, Yarika, she does catering. Now her daughter's our tour guide.
Yeah, that's great.
She makes
now
earrings.
It's a generational business.
That's exactly it. And there's no shortage within our own family to bring them together and train them up. But it's not for everyone, in terms of trying to get them.
Not everyone can get up or think they have the confidence or can just wing it in front of a group of strangers.
Yeah.
But we were so passionate about dispelling the kind of negative stereotypes that we always hear, putting a good news story and good spin on. You talk about history because we talk about the past because we find a lot of joy in talking about the old ways and even the thought of bringing some of those back and saying this was a really innovative civilization that people don't see as the Aboriginal civilization, but it is. And it had everything it needed to survive all those millennia and keep the lands pristine. We need to go back to some of that.
And live through 2 ice ages. Don't forget that, you fellas.
Yep.
So you launched this deadly business grounded in culture, you know, to educate people about culture, history, but self-determination, being your own bosses. You didn't go and work for some of the big tourism operators here. No. So tell us, how'd you come up with the name, which is?
Go Cultural Aboriginal Tours and Experiences.
Yeah.
I suppose we did sit down and looked at some names, even Aboriginal names, Noongar names, and Noongar because we're on Noongar country and delivering it. But we thought about giving it a good Noongar name, and so we decided Go Cultural. We had some friends also, gave us some thoughts and ideas as well, some non-Aboriginal friends, and so giving it that name, it also helped us to think about the future in relation to when we decide to set up tours on my wife's country, Kungarikan country. And so when we go there, we can use the same name and not being a Noongar name type thing. So
so there's a lot of thought into that name.
Yeah, so and we think, the thing about it is everyone has a culture. So we're asking people, go cultural and not just only your culture, but think about others, learn others, never forget, never stop learning. And the only time you stop learning is when you...
Finished up?
Yep.
Yeah, finished up.
Shop shut.
Shop shut?
Yeah.
So with your business, how long you been going for now?
Running as Go Cultural Aboriginal Tours, we set up in April 2016. So
officially registered that name, but probably the beginning of the year was when we'd established that business and decided to. So it's really probably be 8 years now this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 8 years, what you reckon in terms of?
Oh, it's been such a.
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Oh, it's just we've just hit the ground running. We found a lot of work, found a lot of people wanting to come on our tours. It wasn't long. We'd done lots of famils with tourism. Waitok had kind of was under new management as well, the West Australian Indigenous Tourism Operators Council. That's why we say Waitok.
That's Waitok.
Yeah, a lot shorter. And we'd that was a good support for any new tourism business starting up. So we felt like there were kindred spirits out there. They'd been doing, in the West, there were lots more people who'd been doing tourism longer than us, differently. Everyone does it in their own way. We go for a walk and we tell stories and we do a combination of what historic heritage stuff.
And that's here in the CBD area.
Yep.
So for people that are listening to this Deadly Yarn or watching the podcast on the YouTube channel, if they were to fly into Noongar Budja,
Yes.
I said that right,
Yeah.
how would they know that you exist? If they come in, like, would they, some people like me when I travel, I don't have a schedule. I don't have things locked in. But I get there and then I might get on TripAdvisor and go, I'm going to get my coffee there. That's what I do. I get on TripAdvisor.
Yep.
So you follow us on TripAdvisor?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got a website? Like, how do people usually book the tours or find you fellas?
We're brochured. We're brochured in lots of
Hotels?
in brochures. So we're
wait there. So in magazines.
and online.
Yeah.
We've got a good social media presence now. A lot of the local stuff we get is actually word of mouth, and a little combination of that and other websites that we're advertised on. So word gets around. There's posters here and there. But the thing is, we were talking about before, you don't want to there's this fine line about over marketing and being, promising things you can't deliver. You can either be small and authentic and do the same quality of experience all the time, or you can go large and then farm the work out to other people who don't have that connection. So there's this real kind of difficulty everyone has of scaling up their operations, because there can be family out there, but they need a lot of convincing, and they need to see you succeed for a while.
Yep.
They hang around and on the sidelines. You invite them in, but it's not until they see you've been around for a while, you've had some successes, that they want to join the crew. Do you know what I mean? So, and we like those people who are really invested and have a story to tell. You don't necessarily have to know all the script. You just, got to love.
But you start to learn it over time.
Yes, you do. You start to absorb it, and then you can kind of talk about it in your own way. Everyone's got their own style. I've got a different style to him. I keep prodding him. He keeps going, you should have said it different. But you regurgitate it a little bit, because you know so much. You know more than you ever talk about.
Of course.
So you can pick and choose from the information you deliver,
And it's led to you fellas winning some awards. I've been watching yous. I never thought I would meet you. Not this trip anyways. I literally saw the latest
Thank you.
achievement. It's not easy to win awards, not in this industry.
Especially these awards, they're a lot of work. They're about 26 pages long, mind you.
I know, you've got to, it's hard. And we don't always have the time or the resources to invest in filling out forms.
I'm sure you'd win awards if you look back on your tracks and you saw just how much you've achieved. Yeah. If there was an award for that,
just to find that time
you'd win
to put in all those
exactly. You do
submissions. But those awards hold a lot of weight in this industry.
They do.
In tourism.
Yeah.
So what was the last one you went? Because I know you've won a few.
The last big one was Hall of Fame for Western Australia.
So you're a Hall of Famers.
For Western Australia. Tourism.
Yeah.
But in the category of ATSI tourism.
Of course. So, Of course we've got to be in the category, right?
Yeah.
But it's good. We're there.
We thought of going mainstream.
Yeah, I know. But we're there. For black fellas to now have a category in these big awards, I'm sure, wasn't that long ago where there was no category. So you're a Hall of Famers here in WA. What else have you been able to achieve? Quite achievers here.
Our first little award was the NAIDOC Perth Business of the Year in 2018, and that was also the first year we won our first gold for Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander tourism at the Perth Airport WA Tourism Awards. And then winning that category, we represented the state and went to the nationals. That was the Australian Tourism Awards. We had to literally go down and pay our own way and all expenses to and from that National Tourism Awards, and that was in Launceston. And we first time to those awards and national awards, and we won national gold in Australia for Aboriginal tourism against all the other states and territories. And
we did win some money with that too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so eventually
to reimburse some of those fees,
Yeah, and to put towards a business, which really got us going there.
That was a Qantas, I suppose, gift or prize but that was already spent in the business expenses.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And but we were wondering how we were going to get home because we had enough money to get there. Invoices hadn't been paid. So we said, hey, I've got to do those dishes in the hotel tonight.
Yeah. And this is a true story. Oh, you got to ring someone up.
Yeah, fortunately that money fell in the bank for those invoices on the Friday night, and we could fly out next day.
This is true story. Yeah.
That's proper
Our
true.
black fellas were proper hustling. Like I say to people all the time, you know, to do well in business, to be successful, whatever that means, right? Whether you're employing a lot of mob or you're just managing to keep yourselves going.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And don't ever think it's going to be easy. You know, there's going to be times where you're going to want to shut shop and think of other things to do. So what have you got your mindset on? We've got a new year now, 2024. Is there anything in still, like I heard you fellas curate some really deadly experiences.
Oh, yes.
Outdoors. I've seen some of the videos.
Yep.
No. Jindung Jenang, Look to the Stars. That was our stargazing event. We put together, we've got a really deadly lady. She helps us just as our right-hand woman. She's an environmental scientist, so we work really closely with her, and she just encourages us all the way. And we come up with these things and go, now help us just, we need a team now to put this whole thing together. So every now and then we call on people like her and the young people to dance, operate the Waggle, which is a 35-metre long inflatable, which was it made in Melbourne or Queensland?
Is this the Rainbow Serpent?
The Rainbow Serpent, yeah. He's got lights inside him, and Walter designed the outside skin. So it's Walter's drawing of the Waggle.
It lights up.
Nighttime,
lights up. He's been to Optus Stadium during the Sir Doug Nicholls round. He's been at Jindung Jenang and all around the city. So
and the Royal Perth.
Royal Perth Agricultural
Society of WA.
Yeah, Royal Agricultural Society of WA.
These big words, big names, long names.
I know. They put it together. They sponsored that, and then donated Waggle to us after the fact. But he appeared at the Royal Perth show for 7 nights running, and to fireworks in the background, and
crazy.
Everyone putting their camera, phone camera lights on, and it was good fun. We've done some really fun stuff like that, and also run nightly shows ourselves. Produced it and stage managed it ourselves. A series at Yagan Square.
So Meg and the girls, they did all the girls engineered all the music on that GarageBand app, and I don't know how they did it. But,
they
all the
put
old
the music
singing
together, background,
and then added to that, and so it was just off the charts. And we just come in and with a couple of sticks and made some fires and had a smoking ceremony, walking the country.
We just whip it all together just like that, eh?
And fall in a heap afterwards.
What do we do?
No, it's good fun when you're doing it. It's fantastic knowing that that's your show. And, we've done T-shirts. We've sold little gift packs. We do a thing called the message scrolls, which are good at conferences and everything like that.
Just for one moment, these message scrolls are beautiful. Like that in terms of creativity and like innovation.
Thank you.
I was just blown away when I saw some of those pictures. We're going to have to share some of those pictures for this episode.
Okay.
So I'll have to reach out to you.
Yeah.
And show people.
Customisable.
They are available and customised to clients' needs.
That's what we need to do. We need to let people know, because a lot of people listening and watching this, this yarn are probably people who have, decision-making power in some of these organisations and are looking for corporate gifts or looking to increase their spend with Indigenous suppliers or looking to bring their staff or people to a conference over on your country, and you could curate a whole experience for them. Look after the corporate gifts, do the welcoming, bring them on country, do the tours. There's nothing that you fellas can't do. You're like a one-stop shop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's
Some of
missing?
those.
What's missing? What do you
what's
think now is
missing?
one of the challenges as a small family-owned Aboriginal business that's got probably more awards than any other Aboriginal tourism business in this country? What's some of the challenges?
I think resourcing and staffing, it's an issue for everyone. I realise that. The demand for what we offer is so we actually have to turn business away. Not a good position to be in, but it's a lovely position to be in that position of being desired, I guess, as a tourism product. And we really value that reputation. So I think the biggest challenge is getting staff on who kind of see it as a career choice, really, and it is a damn good one in what we do. So
especially if you've got the gold awards.
Yes.
Right? Like there's, like you said, it's a career choice. There's nothing that we can't achieve in terms of creativity, innovation, the cultural knowledge, everything, that we offer as black fellas and what we can offer. But it's limited, we're limited because of the resourcing.
Yes.
So that's
we've got
probably
so
one
many
of your
ideas we just haven't brought to fruition yet. We keep thinking of them and go, stop, we've got to stop, do this one first, But if we had unlimited resources, you would not see you wouldn't see us for dust, because we just want to make it all happen, and with respect, because we don't just go at bull at a gate and go, we can do this. We don't just do it because we can do it. We think about it first. Is it respectful? Is it sustainable? Is it something that, the elders would approve of or our ancestors would like?
There's that cultural integrity piece.
It's cultural integrity for sure, and we really take that quite seriously. We're afraid of what will happen if we don't do it right.
And something will happen. We know them old people.
Oh, yeah.
They're always watching. So if you could share your kind of, I don't know, what's one of the career highlights for you fellas before we wrap up this yarn? What's something you might be able to leave our listeners and viewers with for being, one of the most awarded black tourism businesses in the country? Like, this is unbelievable. And you fellas just walking around here like just nobodies. This is amazing.
No,
and we need to really celebrate.
We're humbled by that, we just, that's why we tread quite carefully and sustainably. And I think, do you want to answer that one? Yeah, because I think a lot, like I really am honoured about the awards. We didn't get into this business for the awards, but after seeing hundreds or thousands of tourists at this point from probably 30 different countries over the 8 years that we've been operating and done, I don't know, we've probably seen hundreds of thousands of people at welcomes and events that we've been part of. I think the highlight, I guess, is that the profile, we've seen this wave of awareness and respect, and despite the bad stuff that we've seen, we also find real hope and joy in seeing people light up and really appreciate the information that they've been privy to, and I guess gifted with. And it is sometimes hard to talk about the stuff that we talk about, especially in the city situation. So just to see that kind of enlightenment, I guess, on their face, or they're lighting up with that information. They never kind of heard it that way before, and we're not guilt-tripping them, I guess, because that's not going to do anyone any good.
No. I love that approach. And what about for you?
I suppose don't go into tourism if you want to make money.
That's a good piece of advice.
Because
you're not going to buy a house tomorrow.
No, not even 10 years or 20 years. If you want to tell your stories and you're a good storyteller, you want to share yours that are, and you may be the that person in your family, do it. It's not going to be easy. Don't expect any help from any of your family. And if you want to do it, you love it so much, give it a crack. And but also make sure that you take the time out you need to also, rest your spirit and your whole being. You have to sit down on country. You got to take yourself away from, because people will be dragging you from all over the place and pulling you apart, and you've got to put yourself back together. But it's a hard yard, and I know that some of the old people that have tried to do tourism in the past, in times, this country wasn't ready for them. And when we came along and we started, one of the very first things at a meeting, a tourism meeting, was somebody said, you're lucky to be sitting here in this meeting, because a couple of years' time we wouldn't have had an Aboriginal sitting here. And I sort of looked at this person and I sort of smiled.
Couple of years ago.
Yeah, and this is a while ago now, when we first started. And I looked at this bloke and smiled. I said, well, watch this space, mate, because we're not going anywhere. Like, we haven't been anywhere, and we're here. And this year.
We've always been here.
And we'll be back here for the next meeting.
Too deadly.
So watch this space. And, I mean, even people in the early days, nobody would, not to say that people need to talk to us, but nobody did want to say anything to us or talk to us. And then as soon as we started winning the awards, it was like, oh, everyone wanted a photo with
yes,
you.
I see these photos everywhere with you fellas.
So what went from
Who are you?
$2? What went from
Oh, now you're my friend.
What went
Isn't
from
that interesting, eh?
Yeah, $2.75 was $250 a photo, But yeah, no, we don't charge anything for photos. If you want to take a photo, no worries.
Some
But
fellas do.
Always
We
capture
should
my left
start.
side, That's
Yeah, get the best side.
Yeah, that one there.
Hey, look out.
Yeah, but look, I mean, like one old fellow reckon, he said, you got a story, you tell it, and that story has been told for a millennia, and people need to hear it. So if you've got a story that's the old people's story, you tell it, because the country needs to hear it. And know
And you
that
tell it on your terms, in your way.
in your way, in your language, on your country, and then that country will wake up and realise that the people are still there.
I love it. What a beautiful way to wrap up our yarn, even though we could be here all night. We don't need to get on a plane. For anybody coming over to this beautiful country, please, call ahead. Don't come here and try and book on the spot. These fellas have won too many awards to be able to be available within an hour, so you're going to miss out. So make sure that you ring ahead, get online, do your research, get on Instagram, social media, and follow these fellas, which is Go Cultural Tours, and everything will be in the show notes. If I could, wrap up, if there's any last words to leave my listeners with, what would it be?
When you come to the West Australian Indigenous Tourism Operators Council has a beautiful map of Western Australia with all the details of all the Aboriginal tour operators, the owners of their own companies, and build on-country location, and we can make that available on your podcast as a...
Easy.
Yeah.
As a resource, as a guide to go and look at. That's
free.
Way Talk.
That's free to everybody.
There you go. See? I heard it here. I didn't even know that was available. And I'm in tourism in Queensland. So thank you for sharing.
Chairperson of Way Talk.
Well, there you go. So that's where the knowledge is. Reach out to these fellas.
Too.
Yeah, reach out to these fellas and make sure, especially if you're corporate or even any kind of organisation, and you want to immerse your people or even your family if you're coming over here, then these fellas, there are other people to go to, but we want you to come to these fellas here. There's a reason why they've won the awards. They're really good at what they do. And I think we need to support more Aboriginal organisations and traditional owner organisations in their own country to be able to succeed and make sure that these tours are available for the next generation. So thank you very much for everything you fellas have been doing, and don't give up. Can't wait to see next time with my family. Come and see the tour and be a part of it.
Yep.
And meet your daughters as well.
Yeah, we'd love to meet your
Big shout out to you
family.
girls.
Yeah. So I'd love to meet your family, and like we say, we're family connected now, so good luck to everyone.
Yes, can't hide. Look, to all you mob, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be sitting here. I'm sure you've enjoyed this episode. Until next time, bye for now. If you'd like any more info on today's guest, please visit our show notes in the episode description. A big shout out to all you Deadly Mob and allies who continue to listen, watch and support our podcast. Your feedback means the world. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify, or even head to our socials and YouTube channel and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. The Black Magic Woman podcast is produced by Clint Curtis.